Welcome to Mourning Brew, the podcast where we sip something warm and talk about things that'll chill you to the bone. Today, we're going to talk about the infamous Haunted Dybbuk Box. In 2003, a young college student named Lozef Niecki was up late perusing some eBay listings. He wasn't looking for anything specific, just doing a little bit of Windows shopping. Oh my god, that was so terrible. I'm sorry. As he continued to scroll through the bland pages of early 2000s eBay, a posting for a small wooden wine box caught his eye. At first glance, the wine box was a rather simple-looking piece of furniture. It featured two doors that were adorned with golden grapes for handles, as well as a small pull-out drawer at the bottom. These features, however, were not what had captured Lozef's attention. Instead, it was the lengthy and, quite frankly, bizarre description of the antique piece that intrigued Lozef the most. According to the seller, the item being sold was called a Dybbuk Box, and it had apparently caused the seller quite a bit of grief over the past couple of years. Events ranging from horrendous nightmares all the way to somebody almost being killed within minutes of being exposed to the box were depicted in the long-winded description. At the end of the essay, the seller provided a stark warning. The box was a harbinger of evil, and whoever won the bid would not be able to return the box. The deal would be complete, and the box would be their problem from then on. Despite the haunting description, Lozef felt oddly compelled to put in a bid. Only a couple days later, the box would be arriving at his apartment. Soon after that, Lozef would learn that the story that the seller put in that description would become a lot more relatable than he could have ever imagined. This is the haunting story of the Dybbuk Box. All right, so welcome back, everybody. Fernando, we were talking about the Dybbuk Box today. What do you know about the Dybbuk Box?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Absolutely nothing. I have never heard of this story. This is my first time reading your script, so I'm really excited to see all the typos and stuttering that I'm going to have because of like the weird way it's written and typos, but it's okay.
All right. Well, so you know nothing about the Dybbuk Box. So this is a very long-winded story with many curves and many players, and yeah, in my opinion, it has a bit of a twist at the end. So I'm really surprised you've never heard of this story, because this, I remember going around kind of like in the good old days of YouTube. By the way, everybody, over the week that we were gone, I went and visited Fernando and went to visit Salem. He made it out alive. He even led a haunted house tour.
Honestly, for $15, we kind of got ripped off.
Oh my god, we got so ripped off. It was such a tourist trap.
It was a 2-minute haunted house, dude.
My favorite is that it's like dramatic
and some
exit.
Bitch hit me in the face, dude.
Yeah, you got hit in the face. I forgot about that. My favorite though is
my glasses right off my face, dude. I thought it was like weapons, and she like took a lock of my hair.
My favorite though is the dramatic exit at the end, which really just toss you out into an alleyway, basically to say, "Hey, don't come back in. There's no refunds. You don't even get a chance to complain because we just launched you out of the building."
It was very like, I don't even remember how we got out. I remember going out into the alleyway, but I don't remember like what led to the alleyway.
It was just absolute just a room pitch black. It was a hallway,
and just like, yeah.
And you like meandered through, and if I remember right, they had like curtains, so you're kind of like zigzagging through.
It seems like a 2-man haunted house, right? The tour guide and like one guy just knocking in different sections.
Yeah, sorry, I had to sneeze. It was clearly a 2-man operation, and it was a scam. That's what it was.
Yeah, so me, you, Sam, plus 2 more, 15.
Andrew?
45. Oh, yeah, Andrew, so 15, 30.
They made $60 off of us.
$90 off our group alone. There's 2 other people.
Oh, sorry, you mean the group. I thought you meant just our group, like us.
Yeah, so there's 6 of us, so $90.
$90, 2 minutes. That is actually, 90. Okay, so let's say it takes like 15 minutes to set it up, right? To set up a group. That's $360 an hour.
That's a lot, dude.
We need to start a haunted house. Screw this channel. I want to go start a haunted house.
Just buy some real estate in Salem, dude.
Yeah, well,
Just
that's
like fucking, we'll have a store like that, and the haunted house is just gonna be Piper with a little ghost costume running around.
that's more entertaining. At least you get to pet a dog. All right. Well, yeah, I still had fun though. It was a fun trip. Actually, the best part, in my opinion, was the little like flea market thing going on in the park.
In the park,
That was fun. I
that
liked
was a
that.
nice one. That was a cute one.
There was a lot of cool
I
little
liked
things.
I liked all the little flea markets that we saw. The little, my favorite. Like I just liked going into the stores, seeing what they had.
Did Andrew have a good time?
Yeah, he did. He's just a little introvert.
Oh no, I didn't. I didn't mean to like. I didn't think he had a good time. I just felt bad because I know he was like. I was too. We were all just like tired at the end. And
No, he wanted to leave like even earlier before you guys.
oh,
But
okay.
I was like, hey, do you want me to tell him to go home? He's like, nah, I can make it. And I'm like, okay.
Okay. I feel bad. I hate dragging people along that are like done. I don't want to do it
Nah,
anymore.
don't, because I hate people that want to go home early.
Okay. Well, good.
I'm like, we made a plan to come here. We are getting our money's worth.
No. Well, I had a good time either way. And
Yeah, the food was good too. That burger place was decent.
at the arcade bar thing. Yeah. No.
8
Next.
bit.
You guys should definitely. I mean, I would like to go too. But if you guys do get the desire to go before go in the
That
off
coffee
season.
shop.
Well, but go in the off season so you can actually go to all the museums and stuff like that without
Well,
waiting
I
a
would
line.
if I had friends to go with, but my one friend that likes that shit is fucking too busy being a piece of shit.
How? I already drove and visited you last weekend.
Yeah, so drive again, dude, in the off season. November 1st, I expect you here.
You say that, and I'm gonna arrive at your door on November 1st,
Do it.
expecting dinner.
Well, obviously no, but I will give you shelter.
Wow, that's something. And you know what I'd like to do next time I go to Salem is I would like to go try and be able to buy a haunted object, much like that object we're
I
talking
mean,
about
you
right
could
now.
just buy the sand.
Or I could buy the Dybbuk box.
Okay, I still don't know what it is. Let's get into the Dybbuk box, right? Because I don't know what the heck he's talking about. Before the cryptic eBay posting ever came to light, the story of the Dybbuk box began its faithful journey into internet infamy at an estate sale back in 2001. Kevin Manis, who was the owner of a Portland, Oregon-based antique furniture shop, had stopped by the estate sale with the hope that he could find some pieces for his store. After looking around for a bit, he had found a few items that interested him enough to purchase. Among these items was a small wooden wine box. As he approached the checkout area, he struck up a conversation with one of the family members who was conducting the sale. Being a man who loved to provide customers with stories behind the pieces he sold them, he struck up a conversation with the family member, who then provided some information about the previous owner. Apparently, the previous owner was a 103-year-old Polish woman. She had a difficult life, as she had spent time in a Nazi concentration camp during World War II. Sadly, she was the only family member to have survived the ordeal. Somehow, she and some other prisoners had escaped from the prison and sought refuge in Spain until the war was over. From there, she immigrated from Spain to America and had brought only 3 items with her from Europe. The box in Kevin's hands had supposedly been one of those items. After hearing the story, Kevin, a bit awestruck, thanked them for their time and proceeded to leave. However, just as he was about to get in his car, a woman approached him and said, "I see you purchased the Dybbuk box." Never having heard of a Dybbuk box, Kevin politely gestured for her to continue talking. The woman further explained that the box had been one of her grandmother's most cherished and protected possessions. It was so valuable to the deceased woman that she had begged for it to be buried with her. However, this would have gone against a Jewish Orthodox burial. Despite this, nobody in the family seemed to know why it was such an important object, nor did they seem to want it in the family's possession. Immediately becoming overwhelmed with guilt, Kevin tried to give it back. The woman exclaimed that it was okay and that it was probably best for the family to be done with the mysterious object. Kevin then proceeded to explain that they could keep the box and even keep the money. Immediately after saying this, the woman's demeanor changed and became aggravated. She then snapped at Kevin, "You bought it. You made the deal. We don't want it," and then proceeded to walk away.
I think at that point, I would just leave the box on the curb and drive away at that point. It's just stupid. Like, I don't get it. Like, clearly this family, it's been this family's possession forever, and you would think that they'd want to keep it. And, like, literally, the grandmother was, like, so distraught that she wasn't, probably gonna be able to be buried with it, which she wasn't. I don't know. Like, on a lot of fronts, I would be like, you know what, you can just keep the box. And if they really did say no, then I'd be like, okay, I'm just gonna leave it on the sidewalk and just drive away, please.
Taken aback a bit by the ordeal, Kevin proceeded to drive straight from the estate sale to his shop. Once inside, he greeted the employee who was manning the front counter and mentioned that he was going to store some items in the basement. Once everything had been brought downstairs, he told the cashier that he would be out for the day and asked if she could lock up the store before she left. 30 minutes after leaving, however, Kevin received a hysterical phone call from the employee. Apparently, after closing the shop and locking up, someone had broken into the store's basement and had caused all of the security gates to shut. The employee explained that they had managed to trap the burglar in the basement, who was now breaking a bunch of glass items downstairs, but were unable to leave themselves because of the lockdown procedures. Kevin rushed to the store and found the employee physically okay, but curled into a ball crying on the floor of his office. He then rushed into the basement in an attempt to subdue the intruder. When he got to the bottom of the stairs, however, he saw nobody. Instead, he found that a number of the fluorescent lights in the ceiling had been shattered. Additionally, the entire basement smelled of cat urine. Oddly, the only why he I hope he had a cat.
This
That's a very, very distinct odor to know.
This smell of cat urine it pops up a lot in this. I'm just letting you know.
Oddly, the only broken lights appeared to be near where he had stored the Dybbuk box. When he went back upstairs to check in with the employee, he found that she had fled. That night, she put in her notice and refused to talk more about the incident. So, couple questions.
Yeah.
What is Dybbuk? What is the meaning of the word Dybbuk?
The meaning of the word Dybbuk, we actually do talk about it a little later, but you are asking right now, so allow me to look that up because I forgot I wrote the script 2 months ago. According to Google's AI overview, a Dybbuk is an evil spirit or the soul of a deceased sinful person in Jewish folklore that enters and controls the body of a living person, causing mental illness or other afflictions. The word Dybbuk itself also means cleavage and refers to the spirit's clinging or cleaving to a living host. Interesting. Yeah, so it's basically in this, what it's a spirit. Now, the crazy thing I don't understand is this is, what was it, 2000, 2001, something like that? The internet is a thing. Yes, I know Google is...
It's very bare bones at this point.
Google doesn't exist right now, I don't think. Right, in 2001, Google did not exist.
I think Google did. Let me double check.
All I know is it's the same age as Sam's brother. Google and Sam's brother are the same age.
Google was 1998.
Okay, so Google is here. I know it's in its infancy.
I think YouTube isn't there yet.
Okay, that makes sense.
YouTube was 2005, yeah.
But the family calling it literally like a Dybbuk box, like, I mean, maybe it was literally just nobody questioned it. No one wanted to know what that meant. But I feel, I don't know, don't you think that if this item meant that much to their grandmother, she would have been like, the kids would be like, what is a Dybbuk? And then be like, hey, this is what a Dybbuk is. I don't know. Maybe not. But.
Well, maybe it's the spirit of the grandma. I don't know.
Could be. And maybe she felt so strongly, she attached her spirit to the box because she couldn't be buried with it. Now she has unfinished business. Maybe.
Could be.
So basically, at this moment, he buys the box. The whole interaction with the family is kind of cryptic and weird, and it's been basically in his possession for what, an hour maybe, probably, give or take a half an hour to the store, half an hour in the shop, gets a call, and all hell's breaking loose. They think there's a burglar. And now he's lost an employee, and a bunch of fluorescent bulbs and shit have been destroyed down in the basement. So, I don't know. At this point, because literally that interaction has to be fresh in his head, you would think you may be kind of thinking, like, why on earth do they, maybe this is why they didn't want to keep it, maybe? I don't know.
Could be.
But I guess we'll see. But hopefully, this man's going to really know. This man is never going to want a cat after this because the smell of cat urine.
Well, that's not fair.
Well, back in that time, kitty litter was not as good.
It's 20 years ago. Kitty litter, I don't think has changed that drastically.
I've seen the commercials. They talk about all this technology.
You don't even own a cat, dude. The one cat you had, you kept outside like a fucking wild animal.
She liked to be outside.
The fact that she lived to 20 is insane, or whatever.
22.
Usually, outdoor cats like die within a year.
That cat was so bitter. I think it killed anything that crossed her.
Should have killed her. No.
What was that?
Huh?
Huh?
Nothing, dude. Continue the story, please. Please.
For a while, the box sat in the basement, largely forgotten. That was until, however, Kevin went into the basement and saw the box again. For some reason, he felt compelled to give it to his mother for her upcoming birthday on October 28th. Because the box was a bit are you like directing air traffic over there? What are you doing? What are those?
For it's for certain concerts, like anime related, like in Japan, right? Like a lot of concerts like are the idols, the performers, they have certain colors.
Mm-hmm.
So like if you're an idol, you might have like pink or purple and red might be your colors. So you turn it to your favorite idol's colors.
Oh,
and then,
okay.
When they're playing, you're doing all these like dance moves and stuff like that. Like they have certain rehearsals for.
Okay, I thought you were directing a Boeing 747. I didn't know what you were doing over there.
No, I'm directing you. I'm cheering you on.
Oh, okay.
But since you don't want me to,
No, keep doing it.
No, fuck you. I try to be supportive one time, and then this is how I'm treated.
I'm sorry, I'm
again.
going to have an epileptic seizure if you keep doing it.
Good. Maybe then you'll be entertaining.
Oh, shit. For some reason, Kevin felt compelled to give the box to his mother for her upcoming birthday on October 28th. Because box...
He doesn't know it's a demon.
Right. He doesn't know it's a demon.
I think it's
Spoilers.
just a nice wine box from the antique spot.
So, because the box was a bit beat up, he decided he would refurbish it before gifting it to his mother. After putting it up on his workbench, he proceeded to open the box and immediately became perplexed with what he saw inside. Inside were the following items. We got 2 pennies from the 1990s, 2 locks of hair, 1 reddish blonde, 1 black, a piece of
seems like a witch ritual.
Yeah, we got the Blair Witch Project going on over here in the basement. Piece of granite with Hebrew text on it, 1 dried rosebud, 1 wine cup, and 1 black cast iron candlestick holder with tentacles at the base. It's Cthulhu, man. It's Cthulhu.
If you haven't seen Weapons, there's like a mild spoiler, but there's a witchcraft ritual.
It's a witchcraft ritual.
It's a ritual. And locks of hair were used. Some other ingredients. I'm sure it was like a viney rose stem to like cut yourself.
A veiny rose stem?
Veiny.
Sorry.
Vines.
Yes.
Thorns. Thorny. Horny. Anyways, this sounds like a spell or something, like ingredients.
There's some incantation going on.
Yeah, there you go.
So Kevin, thinking that these items had been left in the box by accident, he decided to be polite, and he reached out to the family to try to give the assortment of objects back.
Maybe those objects were keeping the demon at bay.
Well, possibly. But either way, the family declined to offer all of it. I'm surprised they even got an answer from them, to be honest with you. So despite the fact that Kevin's mother's birthday was on the 28th, Kevin wouldn't be able to meet up with his mother until October 31st, aka Halloween, spooky season.
Okay, this sounds like something out of Hollywood.
Well,
This sounds like The Conjuring Last Rites.
it was a great movie. What are you talking about?
By the way, real quick tangent here about our first podcast back, being the Smurl House, which was going to be covered in this last Conjuring movie. I think if we're going off of how much of our podcast was covered within the movie, I'd put it at maybe 5%.
Yeah, I agree.
5%
Honestly,
of what
agree.
we talked about was probably within that movie. And it makes me think that maybe we're the dumbasses and we had the story wrong.
So that movie is not about the Smurl haunting. That movie is
Allegedly. Maybe our podcast wasn't about the
Well,
Smurl haunting.
no. What I mean is that, this is my whole sentence. That movie is not about the Smurl haunting as much as it's about finishing Ed and Lorraine's story for Hollywood. It is the Smurl haunting, but it's like Fernando just said, like 5% of the Smurl haunting is covered in it. And I would like to be I'd like to be able to tell you, oh, they used the highlights. They didn't. They used like two highlights that they didn't even really show very well because they're so damn focused on this piece of the haunting that did not exist. It was not a part of it. And
maybe we should make a podcast on Ed and Lorraine.
we should. It's actually in
like
the topic list.
The good and the bad, right? The controversial and the whatever, the real.
There's a lot of bad, man. There's a
know.
lot of bad.
I was after that movie. I was on the Wikipedia page, but yeah, no, that was definitely an experience. It could have been fine, and I probably wouldn't have been as angry if there weren't these three obnoxious women behind us that were talking throughout the entire movie. And it was a 2.5-hour movie. I'm talking about like they narrated the whole thing, and everyone was telling them to shut up, but they just did not listen.
It never stopped.
I berated them after the movie, saying, "Are you incapable of shutting up for 5 minutes?"
They gave you a face too.
They kind of just like looked at me like a surprised Pikachu. But you know what? If you are out there and this somehow makes it to you, you are awful, and you are the worst person to try to watch a movie with. Like Lord help your future like spouse or partner or whatever, because they are going to hate you. You are insufferable. Anyways.
Fair. I mean, I agree. And also, like, another thing, just for anybody else, going to the theater is not a cheap experience. And I purposely don't go to the theater that much anymore because I don't want to spend the money, because I don't want to deal with that bullshit when I just want to sit in my living room and watch the movie, be comfortable.
I think it's worse in horror movies.
It is.
Just because, like,
it's how people cope with watching the movie. They're scared.
Yeah, like these people were clearly trying to like cope, be like, "Oh my god, don't go in there." It's like, dude, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, pretty much.
Shut the fuck up.
If you are so scared of a movie that you can't be quiet, then please don't go to the movie.
Wait till it comes out on DVD and pause and look away, whatever, talk. Like, be on your phone. I don't give a fuck, but not at the movies, dude. Because I came so close to like just like kind of like taking my drink and going, "Oh!" and just like splashing it.
That would have been hilarious. Yeah, it costs too much money for people to have their experience ruined because you're an idiot. Sorry.
Yeah.
But good rant. I agree with that 100%. I think most people would. But so yeah, when your partner's listening to this, when you and your partner are listening to this podcast because you're so intrigued by it, don't talk over it. Just listen to it. Listen to every word.
Shut the fuck up.
All right. Well, back to Halloween. So on Halloween, Kevin decided that him and his mother would meet at the furniture shop before they went out for a nice mother-son lunch. While there, he would give her the box.
You think he scored?
With who?
What do you do? Never mind.
When presented with her gift, Kevin's mother instantly fell in love with it and began to inspect it. While this was happening, Kevin heard the phone ringing in his office and left his mother to go and attend to the call. Moments after answering the phone, however...
Very convenient timing, isn't it?
Yes, it is. There's lots of convenience.
Like, almost like it's Hollywood, right?
Well...
A little
maybe.
Embellishment.
I mean, who doesn't embellish, right? I mean, you know... No, I'm sure.
I know you embellish a lot.
Never.
Taking credit for everything.
Never. Anyways, so moments after answering the phone, an employee rushed into his office in a panic. Apparently, his mother had just had a stroke. Kevin instructed the employee to call 911 and then ran over to where his mother was. When he got to her, she was in a chair with tears running down her face and was unable to speak. Soon after, paramedics arrived and brought her to the hospital. Thankfully, however, she did survive the ordeal, but she was far from unscathed. It's a stroke. I mean, it's hard. It's hard to have a stroke and just bounce right back. It's not something you can just. I mean, I don't think you can. I'm sure some can, but it's not. I don't think that's the majority of people, probably. So how was she affected? Well, for a while, she was unable to speak and found it difficult to write. For the most part, she could only communicate by pointing to letters of the alphabet to spell out words. God, that would be annoying. One day while she was still in the hospital, Kevin visited his mother and asked her how she was feeling. Immediately, the woman perked up and began frantically pointing to the following letters. N-O-G-I-F-T. No gift. Thinking that she had forgotten about the gift he had given her, and also that she was joking around a little, Kevin proceeded to explain that she had indeed been giving a gift. She's being ungrateful. Given a gift right before she had her episode. She then proceeded to spell out hate gift. Fair. I mean, I don't think anybody would like the gift after that.
How are you going to blame the stroke on the gift?
Well, I will tell you.
Does she have further details, or is she just like...
She does. She does have further details.
Well, let's hear it. Can you get to it?
I'm working on it, but I keep getting interrupted by somebody.
No, you keep stopping.
God. I'm done. I quit.
Good.
All right, everyone. Thanks for stopping by. See you later. It's over.
Bye-bye.
No.
Divorce.
Later, after gaining the ability to talk once again, Kevin's mother would explain that immediately after Kevin left to answer the phone, she had opened the box. Immediately, she had felt a strong breeze with a scent that she could only describe as overwhelmingly evil. I'm going to go with cat piss. That's what it must have been after the stroke had occurred. So she smelled cat piss and had a stroke.
Dude, I don't think I've ever smelled anything in my 34 years of life and been like, that is evil.
I don't know about that, actually. It smells some pretty horrible things, man.
Yeah, but you don't think, oh, that smells evil. You think, oh, that smells like shit. Are we saying shit is evil? Is that what we're going off of?
I don't know.
Have you ever smelled something malevolent, Austin?
Yes, I think I have.
You smelled something, you're like, that is a demon or something.
Yes. It must have come from a demon because there's some smells
It came from Diablo sauce, dude, or what?
I have worked in a nursing home before, man. With some of the shit you smell, it's fucking rank.
Yeah, you describe it as rank, rancid, awful.
Evil.
No, you don't describe it. No one's described anything as evil, anyways.
Still determined to give the box away as a gift for some reason, Kevin attempted to give it to each of his siblings. Sorry. This man won't stop. He's relentless. He initially gave it to his sister, but she returned it because the doors wouldn't stay closed.
Does he not believe it's evil, or is he just like...
He does not believe it's evil.
He just wants credit, and he wants someone to like be like, oh, you're such a thoughtful gift giver, when he's like just regifting like a scumbag.
Okay, he either doesn't think it's evil, or he thinks it's evil and he's trying to take out his family. I don't know which one.
Yeah, that's probably what it is.
After his sister gave it back to him, he gave it to his brother, but it was returned because his wife said it smelled like cat urine and wanted it gone. Weirdly, his brother said it smelled of jasmine. Kevin then gave it to his girlfriend, who then only kept it for 2 days before proceeding to give it back without explanation. She told Kevin that he should just sell it. Yeah, you have a furniture shop. Sell your furniture. Reluctantly, Kevin managed to sell it to a middle-aged couple. However, 3 days later, he came back to the shop to find the box on the top step with a letter attached that said, "This has a bad darkness about it." Finally, Kevin just decided to take it home with him. So yeah, it's picking up now, I guess.
I can't wait to see this in The Conjuring 6, the final rite or something like that.
Final right. Cat piss.
For real this time.
The Conjuring.
For real this
Cat
time.
piss.
And it's just going to be like about like Ed and Lorraine's daughter and her new husband.
And their cat.
And their cat. God, I swear, if they steal that idea, I'm going to be so mad in 5 years. Like, if I see a fucking preview for that in 5 years from now, I'm going to come back to this moment.
We need royalties. By the way, speaking of The Conjuring Last Rites, the fact that they didn't shout out our podcast when we shouted them out, it's pretty fucked up, just saying.
It's kind of fucked up by Lionsgate. Who makes those movies? Somebody.
It's not Lionsgate. It's Universal. No, it's not Universal.
Paramount?
Maybe it is Universal. I think it's Universal.
It's probably Universal, yeah. Kevin's breaking point. Unfortunately for Kevin, it wouldn't take too long for him to figure out why people kept giving the box back. Literally the same night that he brought the box back to his home, Kevin found himself experiencing an extremely vivid and disturbing nightmare. In it, he was walking with a family member who progressively seemed to feel more and more off the longer the walk carried on. Eventually, he began to realize that the individual was not who he thought they were, but instead, an evil copy of the family member, a doppelganger. Once he would fully realize that the person was not who they were pretending to be, the person would transform into a disgustingly gruesome old hag. Oddly enough, it seemed as though this dream would occur multiple times throughout the night, but with different family members and friends as the subject. Even more alarming was the fact that when he woke up, he was sweating profusely and had welts and bruises all over his body. This horrible occurrence, however, would not only be limited to Kevin. This became apparent one night when all of Kevin's siblings and their spouses spent the night after a house party. Like almost every other night, Kevin experienced the horrid dream. However, this was not the creepy part. The next morning, the whole family met in the kitchen for breakfast. Kevin's sister, who was noticeably groggy, quietly poured herself some cereal and sat down. Kevin jokingly asked how she slept, in which she replied, "Pretty terrible." When pressed a bit as to why it was so bad, she proceeded to recall a horrible nightmare that not only kept her up, but terrified her. Horrifyingly, when she recalled the dream, it became pretty apparent that it was the exact same dream that had been plaguing Kevin. What made the situation all the more what made the... I need you to shut up right now. Right fuck now, I need you to shut the fuck up. I need you to get the giggles out of your system. Can you do that for me?
Yep.
Stop. I see you're smiling. You're still smirking. You're still smiling. Stop smiling, damn it. I see it.
I'm not smiling.
Think of something tragic, dude.
Continue.
Okay. What made the situation all the more unsettling? Oh my
God. All right, chat. Well, everybody, Fernando went to go decompress because he's having a bit of a mental breakdown right now. Yeah. Let's find some more words that he can't say. Trying to think. What do we got? Onomatopoeia? You can say that? Onomatopoeia?
You did this on purpose. I know you did.
Can you say onomatopoeia?
Onomatopoeia.
You can say that, but you can't say unsettlingly or unsettling.
Unsettling.
Yeah, there you go. Just say it.
Unsettling.
Yeah.
Just shut the fuck up.
If I had those things, I'd give you support right now.
No, you wouldn't.
All I can give you.
Can you shut up so I can read?
No. I got. Sonny Hayes right here, his helmet.
Fucking talks about movies are too expensive. He bought a $40 popcorn bucket.
This is different, okay?
Oh yeah. Okay.
Oh Jesus! It's a big ass bug. Sonny's been turned into a bug.
Wait, how big is the bug?
It's like that big. Brother, are you what?
Is it a beetle or what?
It's a
Oh, is it
beetle.
the stink bug?
Yeah, have you been hiding under this whole time? What the fuck? No! Get the fuck over here, bitch. Get in! Aha! Fuck you. I got him. See? Where are you?
Where is he?
He's right there.
Oh yeah, it is the little stink beetle.
Got him.
What are you gonna do to him?
I can't talk about that here.
Interesting. Okay.
Sorry. I'm still talking. No, you're talking. You're talking.
Yes, I'm talking. Can you shut up? You're like those girls at the movies, dude.
Yes, Chef.
What made the situation all the more unsettling? Unsettling. What made the situation all the more unsettling was the look on every family member's face in the room. They weren't displaying faces of empathy for their sister, but instead, faces of fear. Fear that could only be understood by someone who had experienced exactly what was being recanted. Yes, they too all had experienced the same nightmare. From that moment on, ghastly shadows began to make their way into the corner of Kevin's eyes and create within him a sense of deep paranoia. Eventually, this all became too much for Kevin. He took the box to a storage shed outside and locked it up. Out of sight and out of mind, he told himself. Unfortunately, the box wouldn't be going quietly. As the same night, the fire alarms in the shed began to go off. When Kevin went out to investigate, all he would be greeted with was the rancid yet ever familiar scent of cat urine.
Dun dun dun. Poor Macy.
The least evil cat in all the world, dude. Clearly at his wit's end by this point, Kevin hastily grabbed the box and brought it inside. He immediately hopped on his computer in an attempt to figure out what exactly he was dealing with. Unfortunately, every internet search came back with nothing. I mean, it is 2003, so like the
That's
internet
true.
is still bare bones. Like, listen, the internet, when was, I think, what was it, 97? The internet invented.
It was earlier than that.
1993, okay, but when did it really take off?
When AOL got popular.
So it was created in 83, but it was like really widely used by the public in like 93, but that's still like dial up, like you got mail, like people are really just using it for email. So like in 2000, 2001, like what did Google look like in 2000?
It sucked. It's pretty terrible.
I'm going to say like there's probably like nothing.
You want a funny story?
You were not going to find a lot of searches, yeah.
I have no idea.
Like literally you search something on Google back in those days and it's like going to lead you to like a blog post or something, like or like a 4chan board.
So
where
here's
like,
the
there's
kinda-
just like a discussion.
There's something kind of funny about my father, which is kind of he was strangely prophetic. So I remember when I was in what grade was I in? I think it was first grade. I started doing my computer lab. So we had
And were you just playing fucking
I was playing like Kid Pix and
Tetris?
stuff. Well, we played like Kid Pix and Josh's Apple
don't
and all
know.
that shit. Anyways, we had the colorful Macs, like the
yeah.
So we had that, and I remember we had to start like learning how to use Google and stuff like that. And I remember my dad talking about Google, and he's like, "I don't trust it. I feel like it tracks your information." And this was like back then, and we're all like, "Dad, you're crazy. What are you talking about?"
Who's the crazy one now, dude?
I don't even know. Like, I love my father to death, but when it comes to technology, like he's, we gotta teach him a lot, and it's not a bad thing. He's just not he just doesn't really care much for like a lot of modern technology. But he nailed
See, I
the
don't
bullseye
blame him.
there. What was that?
I don't blame him. He's spot on, dude.
Well, it was funny because
Like-
that was when privacy concerns on the internet I don't even think were really much of a concern at that point.
Well, they should have been because.
Well, yes, they should have been. We all should have been, obviously.
Back to the story. At some point during his search, he apparently had fallen asleep at his computer. During his slumber, he experienced the nightmare that had sadly become a part of his nightly routine. When he woke up, he was greeted by the lovely scent of jasmine. When he turned around, he was face to face with a shadow creature who then proceeded to bolt out of the room.
It's your old
Always
foe,
a shadow
the
creature.
shadow
Always a
creature.
shadow creature.
Shadows.
The shadow man. What did he look like? He was a shadow, but he was a girl, or he was a guy, and he had a veil on him, so it was a shadow figure.
I saw
Genitalia. No,
s-
but I know he was a woman.
I saw a funny meme actually today. It was like I mixed Benadryl with my Red Bull, and I became the Shadow Man or the Hat Man.
Feelings of anger overcame his feelings of fear, sparking him to give chase. Oh, he's so brave. No matter how hard he searched, though, he was unable to find anything. Finally, this was the last straw. He knew what had to be done. It was time to list the Dybbuk Box on eBay and send it off to the highest bidder. This man's getting haunted, dude. His life's getting ruined. He's like, I need to make a buck.
Should I destroy
Dude,
this
just
thing?
go drop it off at a. Just do what everyone else did.
Bring
Dude.
it to
Everyone just
Goodwill.
kept dropping it.
What?
Just do that. Go to the dump. Do something, because like clearly it doesn't follow the other people, because the people that brought it back to you didn't report anything. So why don't you just go dump it on a fucking landfill? But you're like, nah, I'm gonna make a buck. I'm gonna get mine.
I mean, might as well, right? No, I'm kidding.
God.
I agree with you. This should be destroyed, but this man, instead of destroying it, which would be the
Fucking
simple
Kevin,
thing.
dude.
He's like, you know what? eBay. eBay is the way to
eBay.
go.
Like for the 5 users at the time that like fucking had an account.
This is also like eBay's like the worst time to buy stuff off eBay because there still are a lot of scammers, but you had like no protection. So if you bought something, like it was as if like as is, you just buy it and you might not even get what you're supposed to get. It doesn't matter. It is what it is. It was literally just like an honor system, but with money online. It was it wasn't a good time. I know quite a few people got burned on eBay at the time.
Burned at the stake, just like in Salem.
Just like in Salem, yes. Anyways, as mentioned earlier, it was a student named Lozef Nietsky who would ultimately place the winning bid of a whopping
Nietsky.
100.
It's Nietsky.
Nietsky.
It's Nietsky.
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 Okay, yes. Nietsky.
Nietsky. Nietsky.
Okay, thanks. As mentioned earlier, it was a student named Lozef
Nietsky.
who would ultimately place the winning bid of $146.
Nietsky.
Would you shut the fuck up? Sorry, viewers, for that.
Sorry, Mom. You should say sorry, Mom.
Sorry, Mom. As mentioned earlier, it was a student named Lozef Nietsky who would ultimately place the winning bid of $146 for the fabled Dybbuk Box. Within days of securing the win, it would promptly be delivered to his doorstep. The box would then go on to reside here for the next 6 months, and as you can probably guess, it would prove to be a pretty terrible guest. While the first night came and went without incident, the same could not be said throughout the rest of the Dybbuk Box's stay. During this time, Lozef and his 5 roommates, who all had a bit of a passion for the creepy and macabre, would treat the box as a living thing. In other words, each person took turns taking care of the box and leaving it in their bedrooms. Throughout its travels throughout the apartment, the students would note an increase in all kinds of odd and spooky activity. Some of the most common physiological effects included things like an uptick in illness, burning eyes, hallucinating, bad dreams, paranoia, and of course being subjected to the random aroma of cat urine. Lozef even supposedly experienced significant hair loss during this time.
I mean, that could just be standard male pattern baldness.
Yes, and it's college, so you're stressed as fuck. So, sorry,
I
buddy.
mean, a lot of people start balding at that age. Like,
Yeah.
hair thinning.
Seriously. Pretty sure my hair's thinning. I don't know. In addition to these troubling afflictions, all 6 of the students reported experiencing major bad luck. This included electronics like that of cell phones, lights, and computers short-circuiting, failed exams, and even insect infestations.
Oh, come on. Sorry, Mom, I failed my Econ 101, but it wasn't my fault.
It was the ghost. Sorry, it's the box I had in my apartment.
Like I was out drinking all night.
Mom, it had nothing to do with the fact that I woke up a half an hour before my test after drinking like 30 Jack and Cokes. It was the box.
It was the box, Mom. How many times do I have to tell you? You're not listening.
Months later, Thanksgiving break would come and go, and with it, so too would the Dybbuk Box. As it turns out, you can't have a creepy haunted wine box at a university without word of it spreading like wildfire across campus. As a result of the fast-moving news of his haunted objects, even professors and other staff members began to take notice. After hearing about the events supposedly surrounding the box, a man who happened to be the curator of the Museum of Osteopathic Medicine, located at A.T. Still University, the same university that Losef went to, Jason Haxton, took a serious interest in the artifact. Unlike all the previous owners of the Dybbuk Box, Dr. Haxton would purchase the box solely for academic purposes. Being a man of science, Dr. Haxton believed that there must have been a logical explanation for all of the mysterious events surrounding the Dybbuk Box. Unfortunately for Dr. Haxton, he was about to learn that this possessed anomaly does not care if you believe in it or not. What was about to
Would you buy it? Because I know you don't believe in it.
Would I buy this? Oh yeah, definitely. I think it would go like we're trying to redecorate our living room anyways.
Then if like people started dying, what would you believe in it then?
I mean, I try to gift it to everybody, right? As you do, you gift it to your family, right?
Yeah.
And then when one of them get afflicted, you're like, why would they deny such a nice gift? And then you move on to the next person, obviously.
And then you sell it.
And then you sell it
markup.
at a nice profit. So, what was about to happen to Dr. Haxton would not only make him a believer, but would also force him to turn to a previous player in this story for assistance. Who could it be?
It's gonna be fucking Kevin, isn't it?
So
that brings us to part 2 of the story. Do you have any thoughts before we proceed?
Yeah, actually. I wish that there was a better market for haunted objects because we're trying to decorate our living room with like creepy stuff.
No one cares about your personal wealth.
Personal wealth?
You're just humble bragging about how you like can afford all these creepy eBay splendid like $146,000 or however much it was. Like
what?
Yeah.
What was $146,000?
This box.
It's $146. 146 and
zero. How many zeros after that?
Zero.
Zero zeros.
146.00. $146.00.
$14,600. That's a lot of money, dude.
I know, crazy for a box.
And you want to buy one just to have as like a fucking coaster.
So I want to make a little note actually before you start part 2. So originally, everybody, this is actually the first script I wrote when we started this, and I was completely unsure of how this was going to go in terms of like format and length and everything like that. So I just want to mention that this was supposed to be what we just went through was supposed to be the first episode. This next part is supposed to be the second episode. So basically, we are going to be going back in time a little bit here to give us some more context about what is happening in Jason Haxton and Kevin and Losef's story. So that's all you need to know, really.
Part 2. In the 1930s, Poland was undergoing a very uncomfortable transition, to say the least. That is an understatement. The groundwork for the atrocities that would later be committed during World War II were unfortunately being laid down hard and fast. Dark days were indeed upon the people of Poland, and ultimately, Europe as a whole. To escape the dread that remained relentlessly pervasive in the backs of their minds, a little girl named Sophie and her mother would often visit their cousin Havela for tea. Like many Jewish families at this point, Sophie's family had experienced tremendous heartbreak. In this case, Havela had sadly lost her husband and her children in the midst of a riot. It was this shocking event that would ultimately push the window deep. Oh, it was this shocking event that would ultimately push the widow deep into the arms of spiritualism. It was at one of these tea socials that Havela would bring up her newfound interest with the other women. At first, she was quite hesitant to tell her family, as the practice was extremely taboo within her community. Thankfully, they were quite receptive to the idea of talking to the dead, as they had grown quite tired of both drinking and talking tea. Soon enough, the group would graduate from just talking ghost to regularly performing full-blown seances with a spirit board. To the young ladies, the seances simply served as a fun pastime. Even when the board seemingly answered questions in a coherent and intelligent manner, navigating on its own between yes and no, they assumed it was just one of the party members pushing the planchette towards the answer. For Havela, however, this was all very real. Over time, the group began to notice that certain spirits began to visit more often than others. Eventually, the women began to come to the conclusion that a single spirit was becoming the main contact for the spiritual world. This eventually led them to believe that this entity actually had a power of sorts and could provide protection to the Jewish people as a whole. After one rather talkative session, the party convened in a room away from the board and began to really voice their concerns to each other regarding the box. Eventually, one of the women came to the conclusion that it was in fact a Dybbuk that they were dealing with. For those of you that don't know, a Dybbuk is a powerful demon or spirit that is essentially stuck in purgatory. In order for Dybbuk to exist in our world, they must possess someone. Despite knowing of the evil that was often associated with Dybbuks, the women continued to consult the spirit on all kinds of matters. Oddly enough, the women claimed to have actually experienced tangible benefits from consulting with the spirit. That was until, however, the spirit asked for something in return. That something would be for the family to conduct a ritual of sorts that would ultimately unshackle the Dybbuk from purgatory and allow it to walk amongst us completely free. At this point, all the women, including Havela, sensed that something truly evil was upon them and decided to hatch up a plan to remove the Dybbuk. Because they weren't actually 100% sure how many spirits had been in contact with them, they decided that they were going to actually free the spirits. However, the caveat was that they would be released and then immediately trapped inside a box. Specifically, a wooden wine box that had been blessed would serve as the prison for the Dybbuk. Unfortunately, it would not go according to plan. Unbeknownst to the group, there had indeed been many spirits contacting them through the board. As a result, countless spirits were said to have escaped the ritual. However, one spirit was supposedly caught and kept inside the box, where it lives to this day. This is the story that Sophie had just told a now very concerned Kevin Mannis. She concluded the story by praying and begging for forgiveness. According to Sophie, she had believed that many of the atrocities that would befall Europe could actually be attributed to the spirits that they had accidentally unleashed onto this world. With this information in hand, Kevin proceeded to phone Jason Haxton and tell him the entire story behind the box.
It's quite a bold claim to blame.
Listen. How does Kevin know at this point that... Okay. There's just a lot of like continuity errors in the sense of like how do these people get a hold of each other?
You're asking the right questions. You were asking the right questions,
fine.
Just so you know. Like seriously, you were asking the right questions.
No, I know.
So, yeah, seriously, like how, it's a good thing you're bringing up because this family didn't want to talk to him, blah blah blah, and all of a sudden now he's talking to presumably one of the family members who were probably there. I mean, imagine Sophie was there. It was an estate sale, and she seemed.
Listen, 1930s to the year 2000. That's 70 years.
Mm-hmm. That's a lot of stuff.
This woman either has to be 80 or 90, and he somehow found her on the internet when I don't think people that old are really savvy about something that just came out 5 years ago? Like, if you went to an 80-year-old asking them about AI right now, do you think they would honestly know?
But yeah, no, I mean, although I will say you're saying, and I agree with you, you're right. She probably wouldn't be very tech savvy, wouldn't be on the internet. However, there's always phone books. That's even when I was growing up, like in the 90s, that's how you found people's addresses and their phone numbers. You just looked up the phone book. So if they're in the same town,
Well, I got another question about phone books then.
Mhm.
Like, how would he know that this old lady, or how would she have known about this box just based off phone book records? He was Googling and he found nothing. So how did he find her?
how did he find her, or how did she know about the box?
Well, no, she knew about the box because she was there.
Right.
How did he find her when he Googled and found nothing?
Well, no, I think what would happen is he would look for the last name. He would go through the last name. He would just go down the line. He would call all the names in the phone book with that last name, and eventually he maybe mentioned. I don't believe this. I'm just saying, like, if I was going to use a phone book to find somebody, that's what I would do. I would go through, I'd find the last name, and I would call everybody in town with that last name and go straight down the list. Again, I'm not saying that's what happened. I'm just saying that's how I would go about it. So, back to the curator, who is Jason Haxton. Shortly after receiving the Dybbuk box, everything that Fernando just read, just keep that in mind, okay?
Holocaust.
Yeah, keep all that in mind. So, shortly after receiving the Dybbuk box, Jason had wasted no time in attempting to better understand the cryptic wine box that was now in his possession. Unfortunately, like all of the other previous owners, Jason would go on to experience a slew of bad luck and also develop a fear of the wooden box. This would include all the usual suspects: a nightmare about the hag, welts and bruises, illnesses, electronic devices going haywire, hallucinations, and of course being subjected to the smell of cat urine. Unlike the others, however, Jason would go on to fight back. Despite being a man of science, he was very aware that there was something very supernatural about his latest possession. He reached out to a friend who worked for the Long Island Paranormal Research Group, who proceeded to instruct them on how to perform a ritual that should help calm the symptoms that the box was causing. Ultimately, this appeasement ritual was performed in Jason's garage and was recited straight from the book Key of Solomon. Miraculously, all of his afflictions seemed to disappear overnight, and he was now free to really dive into studying the Dybbuk box without fear
Did they
of being
talk
attacked.
about the ritual? What was the ritual?
Not really, just kind of like reading incantations and da-da-da-da-da, and nothing, honestly, special.
No blood of a goat, hair of a...
I don't think so.
Hair of a hamster.
I think it was just like saying some stuff out of the Key of Solomon, maybe, having a dash of, what do you call it?
Sage.
That's it. Really, nothing super special.
Lucky rabbit's foot.
No sacrifices, nothing like that. No blood of a virgin. We're good.
I would have had you strapped to the table being like, are you sure I don't have to sacrifice him? Because he's already ready.
We could do it just in case if you'd like.
I might just be worried, better to do it and not have to need it than need it and not do it.
Miraculously, all of his afflictions seemed to disappear overnight, and he was now free to really dive into studying the Dybbuk box without fear of being attacked. Ultimately, it was during this time that Jason would meet up with the original owner, Kevin Mannis. Kevin would go...
really the original owner.
True. The first real player in our story.
Plot hole.
The first real player in our story. We'll go with that. Kevin would go on to track down Sophie and eventually relay the tale of the Dybbuk box to Jason, the one that you just read us. That's what he told Jason. This, however, would not be the end of the story. So, yeah, we're all caught up now. Jason and Kevin are completely aware of this situation. Like with Sophie, she explained her story and how the Dybbuk box came to be and the evils that are within it. And supposedly Sophie blames, this is quite a stretch, but she blames everything basically bad that's happened in the world from that point on is because of this box. Like everything, which I can tell you, there's a lot of stuff that has happened in the world by this point. So,
Oh Lord,
quite a bold
this is
claim.
one of those stories that's getting a bit.
Long in the tooth.
What do you? Yeah, there you go. That's a good way to put it. A bit hyperbolic.
There's a
little
lot here.
embellish.
It just keeps going, and there's another, and
Yeah.
another, and
No,
another.
I'm seeing spoilers for reading ahead, but yeah, I see how this gets a little even wackier. Am I supposed to read? Because it just
Yeah, it's you. I'm sorry.
okay. Who wrote this script?
A shitty fucking writer.
Let me go into some of the doubts that began to creep in based off Kevin's stories. Immediately before Jason had gotten in touch with Kevin, he had been in contact with one of Kevin's relatives. To Jason's surprise, the relative accused Kevin of fabricating a story about the box to gain attention. Surely the story couldn't be made up, right? After all, Jason had experienced the haunting happenings of the box for himself. After being told the story of Sophie, Jason kept remembering what Kevin's relative had said. Unable to stop thinking about it, he began to move away from studying the box to investigating Jason. What he found would be interesting to say the least. Apparently, Kevin had had a grandmother who was a Polish Jewish immigrant who had died at the age of 103. He also learned that the grandmother had been known to engage in Jewish mysticism. All of this was beginning to sound quite familiar to Jason. When Jason confronted Kevin about his discovery, Jason began to accuse him of falsifying his story. Oddly, not only did Kevin double down and say that it was all true, he began to convey even more crazy stories that had not been mentioned in his post. This included an FBI raid that occurred in his furniture store the day his mother had a stroke. All property was eventually returned and he faced no charges. Unfortunately, however, the landlord became spooked over this and kicked Kevin out of the building. Another story, a man came in and freaked out in the store, and during this altercation, the man had knocked down the box. Another time, a concerned citizen walked into the store and demanded to know what was happening in the basement at night. Apparently, multiple people reported peering into the basement windows and seeing multiple hooded figures congregating. While not everything could be confirmed by Jason, he did actually find information on the FBI raids in the area. Any doubt in Jason's mind was quickly dispelled soon after this encounter with Kevin, as the haunting happenings began to occur all over again. Not knowing whether to believe Kevin's entire recollection of events, he did conclude that something was indeed wrong with the box. After performing yet another ritual, the box was then buried on the grounds of Jason's property, and the location would not be disclosed to anyone. So, I mean, it's the early days of the internet. I don't know if you remember the story of John Teeter, but
Yes.
he was, I think it was right around Y2K, 2000 or so. He was like on one of those, it wasn't Reddit, it wasn't 4chan, but it was a blog community post where people could communicate, a chat board, a message board. And he was like, I'm from the year 2039 or something. I'm a time traveler, and I've come to tell you all the future. And he basically got famous. Like, nothing really happened, right? Like, no one ever came forward. I mean, I think some people did come forward as John Teeter in the future.
There's a woman who claims to be like his soul, like he still talks to her, kind of thing. Like,
well, like I think someone like in the sense that like I think someone came forward and being like, yeah, I made it up. Like I think someone did come forward. I don't remember. But essentially, it's like, yeah, this is the early days of the internet. Everyone's trying to be like, not everyone, but I mean, there's still scammers out there. People trying to make a quick buck. This guy's on eBay trying to sell a haunted box, thinking that like he'll get a story out of it, a book deal, a movie, something, because that's just how they are, right? Grifters are grifters. Look at the Warrens, man. Look at evangelical TV Christians, dude. Like, people are trying to sell you something, whether it's on TV, infomercials, the internet. Everyone's like out to like basically be like, oh, look at me, look at me, look at me.
Well, this is, you got to think, it's like a new frontier back then. There was a lot of people.
It's a new way to make money.
Like, it's funny because, don't get me wrong, it's a double-edged sword, because I think about like this in our gaming channel, and I'm like, oh man, if we did this back then, like we would be like set. But let's face it, we probably wouldn't have thought of it. We did it because other people have done it, and we're like, oh, that looks fun. Let's do it. Which there's nothing wrong with that. But if you're the first to something and you can do it well, hell, even if you can do it like somewhat okay, because I mean, if you look at like the old gaming videos or like the OG like podcasts, they weren't good. They really, by today's standards, they're not good, but they were new and they were interesting.
Were first to the market.
So it's same concept, you know. This is, you know,
it's like New Orleans. You try to buy real estate there, dude. Like everything says they'll literally list something if it's haunted or not haunted.
That is kind of cool.
Because like there's a market for it, and this guy probably thought there was an internet market for haunted collections at this time. There probably wasn't as big as one there is now.
That's crazy now. If this, I mean, I don't know. I will figure it out at the end. But I mean, if you tried to sell this box right now,
you're probably getting a couple $1,000s.
I think you could get like 10 grand out of this. Who would pay that? I don't know, but I bet there's some haunted collector.
Some haunted items collector, yeah. Matt Rife.
Yeah, seriously. Actually, I just remembered who actually has it right now, so we'll get to that. Don't worry. All right. Sorry.
Go ahead.
All right, movies and lies. One and the same, right? I mean, even though it would be a bit before the box would be unearthed again, the box would not be forgotten during this time. Instead, Jason attempted to get Kevin involved with writing a book about their joint experiences with the box. Kevin, however, wanted nothing to do with this prospect. Eventually, however, Hollywood caught wind of the story and decided to take a whack at it with a movie. Perhaps you're familiar with it. It was called The Possession. Ironically, many of the cast and crew experienced all kinds of eerie events and believed the production was haunted. We covered a haunted production set once in our episode about The Exorcist.
The one that got like 3 views, yeah.
Yeah, that one. Ironically, it would be after this movie came out that Jason would become quite fixated on a comment.
And the devil took over the algorithm and, and got us 0 viewers.
That channel is actually cursed. Or this channel's cursed, I guess. Ironically, it would be after this movie came out that Jason would become quite fixated on a comment posted to IMDb. Not only did the individual claim the whole story to be a work of fiction, but they also claimed to know whose hair had been placed in the box. What?
Real quick, so I know we did The Exorcism, but there's actually a second haunted movie set that like a lot of people died.
It was I See Dead People. Yeah.
No, that's The Sixth Sense.
Oh, that one also had it too. But Poltergeist.
I don't know about that one. I know Poltergeist had a lot of
Poltergeist had a lot of creepy stuff.
Accidents. Yeah.
There's been a few creepy productions.
If we ever want to do that or something, we could do like a whole episode on just haunted movie sets, I guess.
I'm okay at that. I think the Poltergeist haunted movie set's actually in our topics list. So
okay. Yeah, so we can kind of like condense it to like movies in general.
We'll combine that. Do a combined episode.
I think this led Jason to a bar.
Ultimately, this information led Jason to a bar that, coincidentally enough, Kevin had worked at years ago. When he interviewed some of the employees, 2 of them brought up the fact that Kevin had been a bit of an odd employee and had actually used their hair in the box. When this was brought up to Kevin later, he immediately cut all contact with Jason. Jason wouldn't hear from Kevin for years. Eventually, Jason would contact more and more of Kevin's relatives, and more of them came out and said that this is all a bunch of hocus pocus. This left Jason in an odd spot. If everything was a hoax concocted by Kevin, how on earth could Jason have been experiencing all of those ghostly encounters? Eventually, Jason came to the following conclusion. Despite the fact that Kevin had indeed faked the entire thing, his con may have actually summoned a spirit.
So at this point, I feel like Jason... By the way, I thought his name was Jackson, dude.
Jason Haxton. Yep.
Okay. It almost seems like they're both grifters.
I think so. I think that's what it is, to be honest with you. I think they're both... Like, it's honestly like...
the fact that he's accusing Kevin of being a grifter...
It's like spy versus spy
hey,
right
let's make a book. Let's write a book.
Who can out-grift the other?
Like, we can sell this because I'll say that it haunted me too. And it's just like, okay, dude.
It's a bit of like spy versus spy, like grifter versus grifter, trying to out-grift one another. Like,
it's crazy, bro.
Basically, we'll get. I mean,
let's interview that Losivnietsky, dude. Like maybe
He's the guy in the middle. He really is the guy in the middle. And unfortunately, I don't think we hear anything else from him. So it sucks. The guy who actually probably could serve as the key to all this, wants nothing to do with it. Was he even real?
Was he even real? That's a great question. Because the only ones that we know for sure are real are the professor and Kevin.
Yep.
The Haunted Museum. Eventually, Jason would go on to get his book published. It would serve to document everything we have talked about thus far. This includes all of the information that contributes to the belief that this box is truly haunted, as well as the evidence that proves that this was truly created to be a hoax. Kevin would even go on to say during an interview that it was all BS. However, it was what Haxton said in an interview that may finally give an answer to the question we have been asking ourselves during the entire retelling of this story. What is actually in the Dybbuk box? In the interview, Jason was asked something to the effect of, "Why do you believe the box is haunted if you know it's a hoax fabricated by Kevin?" This was Jason's response. Did the con man get conned by God? That's seriously my take on it. Someone screwed around thinking it was funny and that they were in control. It's like playing with fire. It was funny until it wasn't. After this, Jason would dig up the box and it would go on to swap owners just one more time. This time around, however, the box was purchased by You're telling me that fucking Zach Bagels took this to his fucking Las Vegas fucking... Oh my god, listen. Me and my buddies used to love watching Ghost Adventures.
Me too.
Because, like, maybe 10 years ago, we thought, like, ooh, kind of spooky. He's on, like, season 35 right now. And, like, you watch it, dude, he's like, there's a spirit! And then it just, like, pans to his face, not actually showing the spirit, and then the camera will go down the hall. It's like, it was just there! Just like, Jesus.
Come out, Ghost. I'm going to kick your ass.
It's like, what is this production, dude? They'll be like, oh my god, like I just feel so angry right now, and I just want to suck your dick all of a sudden. I don't get it, man. Like,
wasn't there a guy who kept getting possessed all the time too? I can't remember his name. He's a bigger guy.
Aaron's the one that always basically he's like, I just feel so angry. Like I just feel like I want to hurt somebody. Like, and there's like one time they brought like a TikTok thought, like just some TikTok model, like influencer girl that was just like blonde, busty, like young, and like she was on the investigation, and like not only was Zach being kind of like a creep, but he ended up like getting possessed, and like I think they're at like Skinwalker Ranch or something. He got possessed and like drove like 40 minutes away and be like, how did I get here?
He probably just went to McDonald's.
And the camera followed him, dude. The camera follows him. It's like, dude, what is going on? Dude, what do I watch?
Turns out he's possessed, goes to McDonald's, gets a burger, and just comes back.
It's crazy, dude. Oh my god, dude. Zach fucking Bagels.
Yeah, of course he comes in. It only took 3 episodes.
The box was purchased by famous ghost hunter Zach Bagans for an undisclosed amount of money. While in Bacon's care, a number of spooky events would occur, some even being captured on camera. One of the most notable experiences included Post Malone supposedly getting cursed. Today, the box lives in Bacon's controversial haunted museum. Here, it is watched over closely and is treated with plenty of care. This is probably for the best, as the box has already negatively impacted enough people's lives. Listen. I just remember when he, like, forgot how they framed it, like, interview with the Annabelle doll, right? Because, like, he got in contact with the Annabelle owner, and, like, the Annabelle owner's like, whatever you do, don't touch it. And they took it out of the, like, box that's, like, got the crosses and holy water guarding it or whatever, and put it in a chair, like, across from him. And he touches it, like, almost instantly, and be like, something made me touch it. It's like, yeah, okay, Zach, whatever. And then, nothing happens. He talks to it. Nothing happens. And then he's like, but the next day when I was at Chipotle, lightning struck this tree over here close to me. It's just like, Jesus Christ, dude.
It sucks because as mediocre as it has become and possibly always has been, the dude is making bank off this. Like, he's
crazy,
making
dude.
so much money off of this. Like, he's
crazy,
making
dude.
so much money off of it.
But, like, I think maybe it's just I'm looking back with like rose tinted glasses here, but I thought he used to be like at least semi, like, not professional, but like it was decent.
Well, I think it comes down to what we were talking about earlier, being the first to it. He kind of was, don't get me wrong, there were other people doing it, but he was the first one to really bring it to TV. And, you know, it hit a lot of people because, you know, for example, remember Paranormal Activity? I know that's not a real thing, but remember Paranormal Activity? They pretended that it was real.
Scared me.
And everyone thought it was real for the first one.
I got scared. I thought it was real, yeah.
But then...
And then you watch it now and it's like, wow, it's kind of like...
this is terrible. But they were the first to do that. I mean, I guess the Blair Witch Project was kind of the first to do something like that.
Blair Witch was good, yeah.
But
that was like 3 fucking college kids, dude.
Right. But I think Ghost Adventures, right? It was Ghost Adventures. Kind of was Ghost Hunters and Ghost Adventures.
No. Ghost Hunters were people that left Ghost Adventures and started their own thing.
Okay.
And Zach fucking snuffed them out, dude. They didn't fucking wait.
This is my show.
This is my fucking thing.
But yeah, I mean, when he first started it, whether it was shitty or not, I don't think it mattered. It was just new and it was something different.
That's why I love
it was
the BuzzFeed
entertaining
guys because theirs seemed believable. Like when they caught evidence, right? Like whistling and singing in a basement or whatever, like no one there. Flashlights turning on and off in the Sally house, etc. Like that's why people loved them, honestly. Because like whether it was, I personally don't think they faked it. Like I thought a lot of like the evidence they did catch was evidence,
I don't think they faked it, to be honest, because all of it was like believable things that could happen, in my opinion.
Yeah.
No. And even though I don't believe in that stuff, I do believe that what they caught was what they caught. I don't think they fabricated it. That may be naive, but I really don't think that they fabricated it.
At least during the BuzzFeed Unsolved days. Nowadays, I'm like, I haven't watched. Like, I see they put a video out every week now. I haven't watched one in like months.
It's been a bit. I feel bad because, well, I don't feel bad.
I don't because they
burned a lot of goodwill, and I know
they burned so much. They burned us like 3 times, dude.
Yeah, it's
first it was like follow us from BuzzFeed to Watcher. It's like okay, fine, and then it was what after that? Then they like just expanded grossly. It's like, oh, we're moving to LA, and we're gonna hire like a production team for like 30 people. Like, it's like you don't need 30. You were doing it with like 5 people at BuzzFeed. You don't need 30 people.
I know it sounds rich coming from us because we already have 18 subscribers, but they have like a few million subscribers, which don't be wrong, I would love to. Well, no,
I think at their peak of Watcher, they were at like 5 or something million.
Okay.
And then after the like we're going to our own subscription only service or whatever, goodbye YouTube. That's when they like got down to like 2.5 million.
But you look at like people.
And like that's when they're like, "Hey guys, just kidding," and like I don't think they've recovered.
And the thing is, though, look at, and yes, I understand 2 different kinds of shows, but look at them and look at someone like, for example, IGP. I understand 2 different kinds of people, but IGP at the moment has more subscribers than they do, I think. And he's one man and maybe an editor.
Yeah.
Again, I understand he plays games. That's all he does. But the thing I'm trying to say is like, he's getting all these sponsors and stuff like that. Like you need people to watch your shows. You can't justify hiring 30 people and paying 30 employees when you only have a few million subscribers. It doesn't work. Now, if you're someone like, I don't know, there's like the mega YouTubers out there who have like 50 million subscribers, and yeah, of course you can make that work because you have so many eyes.
Show speed.
You know, when you put a video out and within like a week you have 1 million views consistently. Hell, there's some people, they put a video out and within like 2 days they have 1 million consistently. If you can do that, then I get it. But they can't do that. So why would you do it? But I know it doesn't mean much coming from us, to be honest, because we don't have any subscribers. But still, it's just solid business practices. It's all that is. All right. Are you ready to wrap this up with a bow?
I'm ready to put this on a bow, dude.
All right. So it appears that we have finally made it to the end of this very long and very insane story. While it is one that many would find literally unbelievable, there can be no doubt that this is at least an entertaining story. So where do you sit? Do you think that it's all a joke? Or are there enough glimmers of truth in there that make you believe that there truly is something wrong with this cryptic wine box? No matter what you believe, I think that the following quote from Jason Haxton sums up all of our feelings about the box quite perfectly. First, without a doubt, the item known as the Dybbuk Box is a genuine artifact of amazing power and magnetism. Second, without a doubt, the Dybbuk Box is a fraud. These two conclusions contradict each other, but I believe both to be true. I can honestly get behind that. If that makes sense, because it's like I think it is a bunch of bullshit, but it's an artifact that's drawn enough attention that it has developed its own following of sorts, and that does mean something.
Following. It's like everyone's like these controversial things that happen in the world, like controversial items, hauntings, movies, whatever. They do gain popularity in like the paranormal realm. People that want to believe, people that are open to believing and open to being a part of something that's like out of this world, something that is unexplainable, is definitely something that a lot of humans yearn for. It's I don't know, it's just something that I can see why people are attracted to it.
They want it to be real. I think everyone wants it to be real.
Because if you want it to be like, to go on a tangent as we close, coming from someone that was an evangelical raised, like radical Christian, sent to Bible camp growing up, like I think we covered this when you were last year. Like, you would have hated me as a child, dude, because I'd be like, Austin, you can't. God's watching.
You can't swear.
Austin, you can't touch yourself, Austin.
You can't swear.
You can't swear. I've been doing a lot of therapy for my own personal stuff, mostly OCD. But with OCD, there's certain, we call them parks, right? Stuff that I overthink and obsess about and think that if I don't do something right, something bad will happen. And one's like relationships, one's like my health, another one's called religion. And there are people with religious OCD that thinking like, oh, everything I do is going to negatively impact me or whatever. But like the more I kind of do this therapy and like listen to music that I used to think would send me to hell, or like go to Salem because I used to think if I went to Salem I'd go to hell. It's like the more I think about it and I'm relearning history to become a teacher, and like going over the papal states and going over that there was a pope war. Basically, there was 3 popes once upon a time, because they were like, no, this guy's the pope in France. No, this guy in Italy's the pope. No, this guy in England's the pope. It's like, it's a facade to control, to basically say that you have to obey, you have to listen to us because what we say is law, because if not, you're going to face eternal damnation. You're going to spend this thing, whatever. And so the thought of spiritualism, the thought of demons, angels, ghosts, something that there is an afterlife, gives credence and gives like proof to this thought that yes, there is a God and there is a church, and they are looking out for my eternal salvation so that I don't suffer for all of eternity in a hell fiery pit of despair. It's like, so there is something out there, and it's like aliens, right? I want to believe.
Well, yeah, of course, everyone wants to believe. I mean,
yeah.
But no, I agree. I mean, like, I won't get too far on this, but you know, back then you got to think like back then, how do you control a population of people when you don't have any way to surveil them? Well, you tell them that there's a man up there who, if you commit any bad things, he's gonna know. We may not know, but he will know.
If you rebel against your king, if you're a peasant and you rebel against your lord, you will be.
Well, that's why they said that these people were chosen by God, because to go against their wishes meant you're going against God's wishes, which meant you're going to hell. So it's actually quite ingenious if you think about it.
Just rewatching history, dude, it's like we're still in that state, right? It's just instead of lords and kings, it's billionaires.
Yeah, it's an oligarchy. But okay, so that is the story of the Dybbuk Box. I think we both agree that it's not real.
It's probably not real.
So, okay, fine. We both agree it's not real. I guess the more interesting thing to ask is, do you think that Jason Haxton believes it's real?
No.
No? Okay. Me neither.
No, I don't.
Me neither. But that's the more interesting thing, because I will say I
would have been more interested in hearing from the original family, the persons that returned it after 3 days,
and Losif
and Losu. Because the fact that his own siblings, Kevin's own siblings, said that he's like making it up, it makes sense that that sleepover story where he's like, "You all had the nightmares too."
Yeah, no, I like talking to them.
I can just imagine him at breakfast being like, "How'd you sleep?" She's like, terrible, because it's a sleeper sofa. It's like, it was the nightmares, wasn't it? She's like, not really. I didn't have any nightmares. I just kind of slept. He's like, oh my God, it was the nightmares.
Honestly, that could have very well happened. And, it sucks because one thing I
just imagine him trying to gaslight them into thinking that they had nightmares.
One thing one of my least favorite things and my favorite things is a double-edged sword about doing research for a script. It's this. You can read about it, but the best, for this kind of stuff, I found is you just kind of watch, what a bunch of other people have come up with, in other YouTube videos, what they've talked about. So, I'll watch, 5 highly rated YouTube videos on this. Mm-hmm. And the reason why it's a double-edged sword is, with a lot of this stuff, if you watch 5 different YouTube videos, you will get 5. Don't get me wrong, 85% of what each of those videos is saying is the same, but there's that 15% that is different. And it's.
So you think they're just further fabricating the ghost story?
Well, it could be one of two things. It could be one of two. It could be that, or there's just there's information on this that I did not get, obviously. There's no way I'm going to get all of it. And there's no way I'm going to get all of it and fit it into this. I have a time limit to write these and get them in. I can't get all the information. It's impossible. Otherwise, you get a podcast once a month. But, yeah, so it's either the 15% of all the rest of the videos are bullshit, fabricated or embellished, or that 15% is, this person's research took them in this direction, this person's research took them in that direction. And there's nothing wrong with that, but I
miss the days of having MLA and APA formatted sources at the end of stuff.
Yeah. I mean, unfortunately for what we're doing, we're not going to get those. No one's writing peer-reviewed. Okay, actually, an interesting one, it'd be kind of a nerdy thing, but it'd be kind of fun in a way, would be peer-reviewed studies of paranormal events, because those do exist.
That would be pretty cool.
That'd be interesting. But I don't know, that's a topic we could look into. But yeah, so, and if you compare this podcast with another person's podcast, you're probably going to get that 15% deviation. So that's another. There you go. I mean, that's one positive though. That's why it's fun to listen. If you're listening to someone's podcast and you see an episode pop up and it's something a story you already know, it's still worth listening to, because I bet you you're gonna learn a thing or two about it. So, just saying. But I think that's all I got on this. I mean, there's really not much more to discuss, I don't think. I don't got any questions. You got any final thoughts?
No. I think it's okay. I'm set with what I said.
Okay. So, I won't say what it is. I don't want to spoil anything. The topic that you mentioned, I am going to. When I asked you what topic would be next, you said a certain topic.
I don't remember. You'll tell me when you stop recording.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll tell you after then.
Yeah.
Sorry, everyone. You don't get any spoilers. All right, everybody. Well,
we'll do your little teasing, and then I'll act like I know, and then you can tell me after.
I'm just gonna say that the next story. Now, unless we develop some of our own theories, then these might be included. But our next story actually has no aliens, no ghosts, no serial killers, nothing like that. But it's still quite spooky. So I'm actually excited about it.
And I'll wait to talk about it.
Yes. So I actually.
Oh, hello, little bird.
No, that's all I'll give you. Anyways, everybody, thank you for stopping by Mourning Brew and sipping the strange with us. I really hope personally that you enjoyed yourself here. If you made it this far, I'd imagine you somewhat enjoyed it. because it's a pretty long episode. But if you could, please like and leave a comment. That would be helpful. If you're on Spotify or Apple or whatever the heck it is that you're on, like as far as a listening only platform, comments are a thing. Not everyone knows about that. You can comment. You can rate us. Please do that. We would really appreciate it. But if you're watching on YouTube, like I said, like and comment. And if you really like us, subscribing would be amazing. We do not have many of them, so we would appreciate it. That's all I got for plugs. How about you, Fernando? You want to send us off?
Lacey could use some more wet food, so if you could PayPal me so I can feed this beautiful creature, because sometimes she acts like she hasn't eaten a proper meal in months. You can't say no to this face.
In the Arms of an Angel starts playing.
In the arm of an angel.
In the arms of an angel.
It's not for me. I'm not going to use this for me. I will use it to get her wet food.
Just flash a bunch of pictures of Lacey's face across the screen right now.
Exactly.
With that song playing in the background.
That's all I got. That's all I got for plugs.
All right, everybody. Thanks.
You too can support a cat for 25 cents a day. For less than a cup of coffee.
All right, everybody. Well, thanks again for stopping by, and we'll see you next time. Have a great night.
Bye-bye.